Hi everyone, Dr. Aviva Gaskill here from BetMeADate. So I had some questions from users about dating and sex during the coronavirus pandemic and some best practices that I thought I would try to answer. So I am a health psychologist. I study people with health issues. I know a little bit about viral transmission and how that works. I'm married to someone who is a molecular biologist. If you asked him, he would consider himself a molecular neuroimmunologist. And I thought I would try and answer some of people's questions about this stuff because we talk a lot about the COVID pandemic in my house. We, pay a lot of attention to what is happening in the academic news, progress with vaccines and vaccine trials and outcomes, and what's happening with different medications that are being used. And so we're following that pretty closely, and I thought it might be really fun to answer some user questions. With that being said, I am not a physician. My husband is not expressing any of his views about this stuff, nor is his department or his university. These are views of myself. And I would strongly encourage you, before you engage in any kind of dating or sex or contact with anyone, that you talk to your doctor about how COVID is transmitted and the best ways that you can protect yourself from viral spread. In addition, if you're in the United States, you can look at the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC website, and look up what they have to say about dating and sex right now. And also the World Health Organization, the WHO. So I would check with those resources and just see what they have to say about dating and sex. With that said, let's go on with the questions. Okay, what are some safe ways to date during the pandemic? So one of the really nice things about that I see during this pandemic is that you have a lot of time to work on dating someone. You have the opportunity to date someone for as long as you like, really get to know someone before you ever have any kind of meetup with them, have any kind of contact with them. And that's a beautiful opportunity. I think right now we live in a world where life is so rushed. And this is a nice opportunity to actually really get to know someone, to message with them, to email with them a lot, to text with them a lot, to talk to them on the phone a lot. I know it's really old school, but I grew up in the 90s and we did a lot of talking on the phone with our boyfriends and girlfriends. Or to even like Zoom or FaceTime with someone and have a video chat with them online before you get to know them many, many, many times. And it might be an opportunity to really get a sense of who this person is before you ever meet up with them. And how nice is that? That's a wonderful opportunity. Next. Can I start a new relationship during the COVID-19 pandemic? Sure, you can start a new relationship. With that said, I would be really careful about who you meet up with and how you meet up with that person. By all means, if you want to go on a date with someone where you're riding bikes with masks or doing something else outside, like taking a walk in a public park with masks on, within 6 feet away, I would strongly encourage you to consider those options for dating. I wouldn't go out to a restaurant with someone right now. It's not safe. The CDC is really warning that that's like one of the easiest ways to spread the virus. So don't do it. It's probably not the safest thing for you to do. And another thing, which is my next question, how and when should I disclose that I'm seeing other people given COVID? And what about asking them if they're seeing other people? So you may be very honest and upfront with who you're seeing. Nonetheless, you are still going to the supermarket probably and going to potentially to other stores. A lot of people are still having contact with close friends and family. That's fine, but you have to think about everyone who's in your bubble, all of their immune compromising or cardiac or whatever neuro conditions that they may be dealing with, and consider that before you ever meet up with someone. In addition, you can ask someone else who they're seeing and what they're doing, but the reality is they're probably not going to be naming every single person that they have ever seen in the past couple of weeks. And so, you know, it's probably really not super safe to just assume that this person is telling you every single person that they saw. I barely remember what I had for lunch yesterday. In fact, come to think of it, I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. So, the fact that someone's telling you that they're not seeing very many people, can you trust it? Or what if one of the people that they are seeing just happens to be someone who's seeing a lot of other people, right? You got to be careful. And so I would err on the side of caution. And if you do meet up with someone, again, at least 6 feet away from someone, at least. Wear a mask the entire time over your entire nose and mouth. And, don't get too close with them. Be outside. All right, next. Can I still have sex during the coronavirus pandemic? And what about kissing and hugging? Okay, so it's a really understandable question. If I'm kissing someone, I'm sharing my saliva with them, okay? That's how germs get shared, right? That's how viruses spread. Hugging, quite frankly, even if you're hugging someone with a mask on, facing away from them, you're still touching, everything that they may have touched, right? Their clothes, you may be sort of rubbing up against their hair, right? You're not super safe, right? I wouldn't touch someone unless you feel really comfortable, really safe, that this person is really genuinely being honest with you. And then, even then, I would be careful, okay? Can I still have sex during the coronavirus pandemic? Sure, there's a lot of ways to have sex without touching someone. So, if you want to somehow have mutual masturbation with masks outside, I don't know how or where you can do that, but that could be an option, more than 6 feet away. But you know what, even better, there's still phone sex and there's still sexting. Those are great options to connect with someone. They can be really fun. Quite frankly, for people who are trying to re-spice up their sex life, they're really fun things to do. So those are ways that might be safe and effective, particularly, the phone sex thing, right? Those are probably a lot safer and more effective and are going to be a lot less risky for you in terms of spreading the disease. If I'm having sex with someone, should I use both a condom and a mask? Again, if you're getting this close to someone or if you're trying to kiss someone through a mask, A, that just seems really unsexy to me, but B, you're still very likely going to be able to transmit at least some germs. Even if you wash your hands and they wash their hands immediately before putting on a mask and a condom, again, right? There's a lot of ways for the virus to spread. It's going to be really hard to assure that no bodily fluids got on any of those items on the outside and are not going to touch you. And you're sleeping on somebody's sheets. Again, you're all over their stuff. Or they're all over yours. Actually having penetrative sex with someone that you don't know, unless you are quarantined with that person for more than 2 weeks at a time, it's a risky behavior. Okay, well, I hope that you enjoyed this episode about dating and sex during the coronavirus pandemic. Please subscribe to my channel. If you have comments or questions, things you'd like me to cover in the next episode or the next time I do this, if you'd like me to do it again, please comment below. I would love your feedback. And like the video, ring the bell. All right, this is BetMeADate. Thanks so much. Check us out on BetMeADate.com. Bye.